For the final time this morning, we'll start our sports bulletin with this conversation. So South Africa will be represented by Made by Ball basketball team in Season 5 of the Basketball Africa League. So the national champions will be making their debut in the Nile Conference. That's between the 17th to the 25th of May in Kigali, Rwanda, following in the footsteps of the Cape Town Tigers, who became the first South African team to compete in the prestigious BAL. So joining us in studio this morning to chat to us about the team's qualification for this prestigious BAL competition is Cyril Shabalala, who's the club owner of the side. Cyril, a very good morning and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
Sure, it must be a proud moment, right? A moment of pride, your team playing in the prestigious BAL.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we didn't really kind of foresee in terms of how quickly it came. But we are here now, and we're here to represent the country and hopefully, you know, do the country proud.
What do you mean by how quickly it came? Had you not anticipated that by this time you would be participating in this competition?
Well, I just think in terms of how the club has grown so quickly in a very short space of time, you know, it's one of those kind of, maybe in my kind of head and my objectives, I thought maybe it'll happen, you know, in maybe 2 years or so. Yeah. But then, you know, it just kind of came quickly, and I think the stars just aligned in terms of how we got guys together, how we got guys to buy into what we were trying to do, and how, you know, the players were just very keen on ensuring that, you know, we put a group of guys together that can compete.
Well, let's speak about the history of your side, MBB. Interesting name as well, Made in Basketball team. How did this name come about, and tell us about the history of your team?
Well, it's basically, the name behind it is, the reason behind the name is just in terms of where we come from as individuals. I mean, for myself as well, you know, basketball has done so much for me. You know, I went to school for free because of basketball, and that allowed me to get an education, that allowed me to get a degree. It allowed me to find work, you know, the work that, you know, so where I'm working right now, it's simply because of basketball. And I think that goes for the same for all the guys that are participating in the team or playing basketball, even outside of MBB, in terms of guys are, you know, getting scholarships. Some of them are going overseas to play basketball. Some of them are getting scholarships here locally to be able to study and, you know, find their way in terms of life and what they want to do. Even if they don't pursue that professional career, they are still made by ball in terms of, you know, how basketball has shaped their lives and their careers in terms of where they are.
Talk to me though about, you know, how things are in camp at the moment. The spirit is obviously on your team heading to the BAL. What's the preparation like at the moment? Are you satisfied with how preparations have been
I'm very satisfied at the moment. I think we've got a coach in Sam Vincent, who is a very accomplished coach, and you know, the guys are they respect him a lot. I respect him a lot. And I think the dynamic that he brings to the club and what he brings to the team is very unique in terms of some of those aspects that we need, that we didn't have in the country, you know, for a long time. And, you know, the guys are really responding well in terms of what his philosophy is and what he's trying to do, you know, in line with the culture of the club, in line with what, you know, the ethos of the club is in terms of, you know, where we come from and how being a homegrown club that is just a bunch of guys that are just trying to, get together, you know, and use basketball as a tool for us to kind of, you know, do good things in the country.
Yeah, obviously Sam Vincent, quite well traveled on the continent. He coached you at the national level, you know, some years ago. And interesting that you've chosen him to sort of be at the helm of this team and, you know, potentially be the coach that is responsible in taking this team to the semi-finals, maybe the finals of the BAL. But it's interesting as well that the finals will be held right here in South Africa. So it's a huge moment for your team. I know the Cape Town Tigers managed to make it to the semi-finals last year. How important do you think it will be for your side to sort of, you know, get to the playoffs in the first, you know, year of the BAL? How possible is that, Cyril?
Look, it's very possible. Basketball, like any other sport, you know, anything can happen. But I think with BAL now deciding to have the finals in South Africa is very big for us. But now what it means is that we now need to go to Kigali and make sure that we qualify so that we can come back to South Africa for the playoffs. You know, it's not going to be easy. But I definitely think that what we are doing as an organization and with Sam Vincent, you know, it definitely is one of those things that are very possible for us to do. And I think, you know, BAL, you know, has the confidence in South Africans and South Africa as a whole in terms of, you know, what BAL was last year where Cape Town Tigers played to what it is, what they kind of envisage in terms of what it will be this year. So it's a very big thing for us. You know, we really hope that we can qualify and come back to Pretoria and get the South Africans behind us.
It's important to get South Africans behind this brand, to believe in MBB. Just talk to us about the challenges of having to run a club, because my understanding is that you're doing this all by yourself. There's no support, there's no sponsors. How difficult is that?
Yeah.
And are you hoping the team's performance in the BAL will sort of get will get the right eyes, you know, watching the team and maybe potentially going forward supporting the side?
It's just one of those kind of chicken and egg kind of situations where you're hoping that somebody is going to come in and, you know, and put some financial resources behind the club so that we can do well. But also some of these sponsors, potential sponsors, they want to see you do well first before then they can put, you know, a little bit of financial resources into the club. So it's tough at the moment because we don't have any sponsors. Puma came on board to give us some apparel, which is great. You know, we really, really appreciate the work that they've done for us. But we need some financial backing and financial resources so that we can be able to do certain things, resources, get the guys, you know, kind of ready, get the guys, you know, some sports science, you know, things that they'll require to be able to prepare them, you know, like professionals. You know, those things are really, really, those small things that, you know, that cost a lot, but they make a difference in a club where you're able to just kind of maneuver your way around certain things and make things a little bit easier. But yes, it definitely is tough. So we really are hoping that, you know, there are some people that can, you know, the corporates or anybody that are sponsors, you know, the Department of Sports, if they can come on board, we really, really would appreciate any kind of support at this stage because, you know, May 17 is coming thick and fast.
Yeah, May 17 coming thick and fast. That's, of course, the date of the start of the Nile Conference out in Kigali, Rwanda. Cyril, all the best of luck. It's going to be a huge, tough challenge for MBB. We saw the likes of the Cape Town Tigers competing in this prestigious BAL, and all the best of luck. And may you guys come back home in the playoffs and play right here at the Better Arena, right? In Pretoria.
Yeah, in Pretoria, Sunbet Arena. But we'll definitely make it work. We'll definitely do what we can. And obviously, Cape Town Tigers has laid the foundation for the South African team. And we hope to follow in their footsteps and hopefully, you know, take it a step further and try and see if we can, you know, kind of bring, you know, some joy to South African people from a basketball perspective.
Absolutely,
but thank you very much.
Yeah, Cyril Shabalala, the co-owner, of course, of MBB basketball team, just speaking about the importance of doing well in this competition.